Okay.
Okay.
Good. AJ, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for sharing some information. You did promise you'd be brief, and you have passed on the information. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. The Glove Fete is well and truly on. July 12th, starting at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And that Glove Fete, they say, is powered by Digicel. And it is $50 to get you in general admission in advance, $60 at the gate, $160 if you want an all-inclusive section. And, of course, the Glove Fete is going to bring the Burning Flames out of Antigua, a very, very popular band here. And they will be part and parcel of that. And so those of you who want to go out, whether it's worky or ride the bicycle, whatever it is you want to do, it's all about the Glove Fete on the July 12th. So we thank young AJ for coming through and for being a part of our show at the start. We are getting involved now. We have a few other things to do, and we're moving quickly, moving right along. So we need to get some songs queued up. We have a few artists who have come and who are releasing this evening, and so we will certainly be trying to see what we could do in that regard to get that going. Mr. Technician, you're all set? All right, we need you at the controls because we have some music that we want to bring to folks tonight. Those of you who have just tuned in, you're listening to On The Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and welcome to another edition. I was so excited about the Glove Fete that I forgot to greet everyone as I normally do, so I want to say a special evening to all of you who are, wherever you are, listening in North America, the United States, and Canada, of course, in the United Kingdom, those around the Caribbean, and those right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I continue to be amazed at how many people listen to the show, and I continue to thank all in the community who want to disseminate information, share their music, share whatever is happening. This show, as I say, is a people's show. It belongs to you, and we try to invite everyone and to invite people to take advantage of the opportunity. We have with us tonight the man Daddy Nature.
Yes,
last time he spoke to us, he was far away.
Yeah.
And when I came tonight, I was told that he would be calling in, but it looked like he took a jet plane. So he's right here, and he decided to come to the studio. Daddy, welcome again.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable. It's good to be back again. I had a good trip out, and I'm back here tonight. I must say thank you for your time that you can spare us here to release our songs and stuff like that. Good night to all my fans tuning to the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean right now. This is Daddy Nature here, asking you to tune in, get next to the radio and tune in for my second release here tonight on the powerhouse.
Okay, I'm getting all kind of signals. So, all right, good, Daddy Nature. I think your mic was probably a bit too close. All right, so tell us a little bit about the second song, Daddy.
Well, my second song is a sort of more up-tempo song, right? Yeah, because last year some calypso was challenging me and said that I can't do an extempo song. I was doing like more of a slow tempo, right? Yeah, so that was that. This song is about nature's pressure. You see, it's about the amount of pressure that I want to put out there for C45 this year. The song telling you about my past experience on the stage, with the judge's decision and stuff like that. I know we said that the judge's decision is final, but I don't think that is always right, you know. And I see the king is right here, laying back. I have a little answer to his last year's song that he did for Culturama, because when I pass to Cotton Ground, if I go to the beach and Cotton Ground, I was just stopping Cotton Ground, I can't get anywhere from two guys in Cotton Ground. One is Peter, they call him Bapo, and one is Bingo. Every time they see me, they saying, 8 of them went down to St. Kitts. Not one, you know. I'm not really looking for any enemy in this art form, you know. But if you ask me a question or if you say something to me, trying to portray something, I would give you a small answer.
But that's part of it, though.
That's part of it. That's part of it. And yeah. It's a fun. It's the fun about culture, you know.
course.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what the fans look forward to.
Yeah,
as
of
well,
course,
you know?
of course.
So, all right, Daddy Nature is here. Daddy Nature, what's the name of the song?
Nature's Pressure.
Nature's Pressure. DJ, we have it queued up. Let's give Daddy Nature a brand new release for Culture Armor 45, his second song. And this is a
Oh.
competition song for Culture Armor 45.
I got the eyes of an eagle and the ears of a tiger. I could hear them talking about me when they link up together. I hear them planning to destroy me because I'm a dreadlock rasta. In the sky is so arena, so me they trying to conquer. From the ears of a tiger, hear them from way over. So they can't send this rasta man to Anguilla. So no matter how much I beat them, the fire is to do them cheating. Even the chairman of culture trying to push me over. Oh, that's how I'm bolder them.
With nature,
I'm gonna powder
with
them.
nature,
I'm gonna torture them.
with nature,
I'm gonna slaughter them. When I get them on the stage,
with nature,
I'm gonna be in a
with
rage.
nature,
I'm gonna create
with
strange
nature.
until things change. In the sweet music, melody, with a sweet formula, so with plenty more pressure for my daddy nature. Nature, nature. Mama, let me go. Trouble on the road. I feel in a rage, mama. Trouble on the stage. Nature never here. When culture come on, is that the nature? Is the talk of the town? With a unique style and vigor, none of them can discover. So it's plenty more pressure for my daddy nature. Yeah, pressure. From the eyes of an eagle, I can see all the evil that they trying to do me. Good thing I praise the Almighty. It's because of my dedication and patriotism for this island. So I come to prove for the last time and show them what's right from wrong. My fans them asking me, nature, what would our culture be without you in the final competition? So I tell them, okay, no problem. I must find a way to beat them. Even they doing the cheating, I know I can beat all of them. So I gonna murder them,
With nature,
I gonna powder them,
with nature,
I gonna torture them,
with
and
nature,
I gonna slaughter them. When I get them on my stage,
with
I'm
nature,
gonna be in a rage,
with nature,
and I create
with
strange
nature.
until things change. With the sweet music melody, with the sweet formula, so it's plenty more pressure for my daddy nature. Look out, look out, look out, look out, look out. Here comes nature. Mama, let me go. Trouble on the road. I feel in a rage, mama. Trouble on the stage. When they come for crown, I gonna put them down and show them plain who's the real champion. I got a unique style and vigor, none of them can discover, so it's plenty more pressure for my daddy nature. Nature's pressure. Oh yeah. I'm a true-born soldier, one with a great will to conquer. Don't care if they fight me, I keep on standing. Just like a rock of Gibraltar. You can understand my music, my lyrics, not composition. So they come with all kind of freaky plan to try and get down my man. They send a wounded lion to represent this island. But that wounded lion, he could hardly roar. So it's time the judges consider. Give nature what is for nature. Until they prove to be better, I won't ease up the pressure. So I'm gonna murder them,
With nature,
I'm gonna powder them,
with nature,
I'm gonna torture them,
with nature,
I'm gonna slaughter them. When I get them on my stage,
with nature,
I'm gonna be in a rage,
with nature,
I'm gonna create
with
strange
nature.
so it's plenty more pressure from my daddy nature. Nature, nature. Mama, let me go. Trouble on the road. I feel in a wage, mama. Trouble on the streets. Each and every year, when culture come round, is that the nature? It's the talk of the town. Got a unique style and vigor, none of them can discover, so it's plenty more pressure from my daddy nature.
Daddy Nature.
Yeah,
You know the man they call Dr. Packer
Dr. Packer.
from up Junjala?
Yes, man, another man, man.
Just send me a
that.
message. You know, he said big tune. Big tune. I just
Yeah,
gotta tell
man,
you
that's,
because
that's one of my big fans,
yeah,
man.
he listening.
Big
and
up,
he said
Packer.
big
Big
tune.
up, man.
He definitely, you know, he's a man that drive the big rigs all over the US.
yeah.
I don't even know where he is right now. But wherever he goes, he tunes in every Wednesday to on the mountain.
Oh, that's
He
good.
just
That's good.
texted-
That's
he sent me
good.
a message. He said big tune, and I believe I've never heard this side of you.
No.
Meaning the jumpy and you know what I mean, it really
Yeah.
dance. I mean, you know, you always tell people I can't
Yeah.
dance, but I felt myself moving, you know. So I like it. I like it a lot. It's a different
Yeah.
side of nature. The lyrics I think in particular are very strong. I don't know who you say is the wounded lion. You know, but, you know, I mean, you know, I tell everybody all the time, you know, I said when nature starts to punch, right? You don't feel it. You don't feel in your solar plexus, you know. So,
Yeah, man.
but the lyrics, you write your own lyrics, nature.
Yeah, all the time from day one. I used to write. I started writing for my daughter. That was Princess Nature, a couple of years back, and then I just, well, she's away now for the past 6 years or so, 7, 8 years. But then one day when she tell me, look, Dad, you've been writing songs for me all the time. I think you can write some songs for yourself too. So I actually start singing the last year that she sang in Navy's for Culturama.
She sang at the junior level.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, she
okay.
did.
Okay. So how long have you been in this thing now?
About 10 years or so now.
Okay.
And I think it's ready for my crown now.
You ready for your
I think
crown
the
now?
time has come. Well, it come long before now, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, you put it
You would know, but I can't take it no more, man. As you hear my first song, Legacy of Nature, that show, so you can look back on my works that I've done over the past years, and you can say, man, look, this Calypsonian, if we lose this Calypsonian, we will be losing a great Calypsonian, you know.
So
Because-
you've been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
What's the best showing that you've had in the 10 years?
My best show so far? My best show. I don't want to go back to that year when I say I can't see any tourists. I know that's your favorite show, but I think the best show I did that year when I sing, I think it was The Poor Man's Cry and One Caribbean. That is the year that everybody always brings back to me and say, look, you definitely win that crown that year. And then not last year, because last year was I had 2 strong songs last year as well, but what happened last year, I felt very ill on stage. Even before I was on stage, I was already thinking about not going on stage again. But then I say, I'm gonna put my best foot forward and just try to go, instead of making somebody hearing, oh, Daddy Nature won't be singing again tonight, just try to go there and do the best that I can do.
But you weren't feeling well.
I wasn't feeling well at all.
Okay.
The day after that show, I end up in the hospital.
What? I didn't even know that, man.
Yeah. I end up in the hospital. I was like vomiting non-stop. I had some food to eat from somewhere. I wasn't gonna mention or nothing, but I feeling like I'm gonna eat something and then I won't have to go home to worry about cooking and stuff like that. I could just relax and get ready for the show. So I decided to eat some food and then that got me
you sick?
really sick.
Okay.
And even the next day, I end up in the hospital. That was the last of my culture, my enjoyment. I couldn't even go to Juve, last lab, nothing like that. I was down, you know. So this year I'm back, and like I said, from the eyes of an eagle, I can see all the evil that they're trying to do me. Thank God, I praise the Almighty.
And the ears of a tiger.
Yes, you know, I could hear them from far. They're talking. I get it. No, man. Oh, that that Rastaman don't look presentable to go to Anguilla. Rastaman is in Anguilla too. I sure Rastaman does be on the show in Anguilla. One time when I hear the remarks and I saw who was on stage in Anguilla, a Rastaman was the MC. So I don't see what they're running from. They're running from Rastafari. They're running from the power of Rasta. Because from the time I start singing, I always come punching. I always day and day about. You know, I am not like no little rookie calypsonian in this thing now.
So
I come out full blast and I maintain it.
So you feel this year, the material you have, that this is the year?
I think so. I think I can do it this year.
Okay. All right, good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Daddy Nature. He passed through just to release this song. I think it's a monster jam. We already have one review saying big tune, and I think that this song is going to go really far. It's a different side of Daddy Nature. Someone
Of course it
we
is.
haven't seen yet, and I like it. I like the fact that you could show that you have the versatility.
Yes,
And
yes.
you said this one is called
Nature's Pressure.
Nature's Pressure, and you're applying plenty pressure this year. He's laying down the gauntlet. He said this year is his year, and I think that is clearly a clear warning to all the other Kaisonians. So, Nature, thank you for passing through.
Yeah, man, every time. And I must say thank you to for always allowing us the time to come on your program. I know you have a lot of different things to talk about and deal with, but you always allow us sometimes, and I would say thank you to that too.
Good. Well, this is.
I would like to hang on and hear the King's second song,
Okay,
and then I
okay.
can go if that's not no problem.
Sure, you want to hear
Okay.
it?
Okay.
Yes, I want to hear it.
All right.
I want to hear
Well,
it.
all right. So Nature, will hang on for a few minutes. We cannot afford a few minutes while we get the song. You've heard the reference to King. So we have here with us King This and That, the reigning Kaiso King in Nevis, a man who has been a perennial favorite and at the top of the game for a very, very long time. King, welcome back to On The Mark.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you again for giving us, like my good friend Nature will say, the opportunity to release on this broadly listened to program. You know, when we release here, the entire world hears it, so we are extremely pleased for the opportunity to, of course, do it on your program. And that's, of course, is why we do it on your program, because we know the listenership is wide.
Okay, well, I'm grateful for that. It is true that I think we have a wide listenership, particularly Nevisians in the diaspora, in the United States, in Canada, particularly in the United Kingdom. I'm surprised because with a 4 or 5 hour difference sometimes in the UK, people tell me they stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning to listen to the show. So, I mean, it's good, and with the internet now, you can listen anywhere you are. I was in Taiwan the other day, and I tuned in to listen, and as a matter of fact, I called it because I was there listening live and lively. So I think that it is a big platform. People hear widely, and I continue to be amazed, as I say, as I walk around St. Kitts and Nevis, the number of people who say to me that they've been listening to the show for years. They may not call, but they're listening. And so I think when you release here and somebody says that's a big tune, that's a monster jam, I think that people genuinely think that. Now, King, this and that, you've heard Daddy Nature. I believe what I'm hearing from him, if I can try and paraphrase, he's saying this year is his year. He's laid down the gauntlet. He said that he has the eyes of an eagle and the ears of a tiger. He also says something about a wounded lion who went away to represent. I don't know who he's talking about, but I like that. I think that is part of the Kaiso.
Of course, it's all in good fun.
Yeah,
It's
man,
all
the
in good
pick
fun,
on.
you know?
It's not
Yeah,
that.
the pick
I
on.
think
It's all in good
sometimes people misunderstand. And they get to this thing where they think people don't like people.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it is
yeah.
part of it. You know what I mean? Your fans come and your
Good
fans
pick on.
want to hear. You know what I mean? When you have a fella in one corner
No,
shouting for you.
not me. I always respect the King, especially for his number of years.
Consistency.
Yes,
Of course.
in the competition.
Not
yeah.
Mr. Year since he's been involved. King, how many years now have you been competing?
44.
44 years. And doing the 45th. He started, if you're wondering, ladies and gentlemen, 'cause he looks quite
When I
young,
was 2.
started when he was 2. So, King, this and that, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, Mark, it's the time of the year. I always wait until music festival is over so that the full attention could be on Culturama, and that's when I will release what I call the big one. Of course, the one that I released before is a big one, but this one I think is gonna. You said the first one hurt some feelings. This one is gonna make some people cry.
You're going to make some people cry. What's the name of this song? Tell us a
This
bit
one
about it.
is The Journey of a King.
The Journey of a
The
King.
Journey of a King.
And you're writing the music and all that? You had any
Everything,
collaboration?
is always me doing the writing and, quite a bit of the arranging as well. And together with Abonati, we have a good working relationship. And, over the last 8 years, it has worked fine and continues to work fine. And, we go a long way together and we work very well together.
We've never in the history of Culturama had back-to-back monarchs, people winning back-to-back.
It will happen this year.
It will happen this
Believe
year?
me.
You
Believe
think it can happen this
It
year?
is going to happen this year.
Well,
Trust
you're
me.
Daddy Nature,
Trust me. It's
you're
going to
here
happen
with
this
me.
year.
Yeah.
You say it can't happen because this is your year.
Yeah.
Well, you will remember last year, Mark, when I released, a gentleman called in and said the side dish sounds so good. What happened when the main course come? That was Gio. He didn't even pass elimination. So talk is cheap. Whiskey costs money.
Let us hear the
Journey of a King.
King this and that.
Oh yeah. The journey has begun. It is hard to achieve in this country. Believe me, my friends, it ain't easy. The obstacles that they put in your way is hard to overcome. Struggles continue every day. You will fall if you ain't strong. And when you think that you have conquered all the problems you encountered, be wary. Be wary. Because the ones who trying to destroy you, still waiting to crucify you. Lord have mercy. Have mercy. They know you working hard each day, but they don't give a damn. They want to make you pay for their failures and sufferings every day. But not me.
I ain't backing down for anybody.
All you tell them from me,
I remain strong and standing tall.
tall, tall.
This land has enough for everybody.
All you listen to me,
Opportunities are there for all.
so true. You will find your share once you keep searching. Never mind, the road ahead seems tough. All that grudge and envy you carrying, my brother, will never be enough to stop me from.
Growing from strength to strength.
Look at growing and growing.
Determined with sheer commitment.
Well determined.
Satisfying my heart's content.
Oh yes,
Working for success
so true,
in every contest.
true, true. On my searching. Never mind, the road ahead seems tough. All that grudge and envy you carrying, my brother, will never be enough to stop me from
Growing from strength to strength.
look at growing and growing.
Determined with sheer commitment.
Really tell me,
Satisfying my heart's content.
oh yes,
Working for success
so true,
in every contest.
true, true. On my journey to further progress, and I wish the same for you, God bless. Oh yes. There will be no retreat, no surrender. Strong like a lion. If we only return to the old ways, I am sure we would learn how to give praise. If we put away all divisiveness and live together as one, I guarantee you would suffer less and improve your situation. But if you continue undermining and willfully sabotaging, you will remain
Will remain.
at the bottom of the table, right down there and watching people lifting their game.
Lifting their game.
You better get your thinking right. Stop making enemies and let your light shine bright. Put away all that grudge and envy and spite from tonight, cause
I ain't backing down for anybody.
all you tell them from me,
I remain strong and standing tall.
all,
This land has enough for everybody.
all you listen to me.
Opportunities are there for all.
So true, you will find your share once you keep searching. Never mind, the road ahead seems tough. All that grudge and envy you carrying, my brother, will never be enough to stop me from
Growing from strength to strength.
look at growing and growing.
Determined with sheer commitment.
Really tell me,
Satisfying my heart's content.
oh yes,
Working for success
so true,
in every contest.
true, true. On my journey to further progress, and I wish the same for you, God bless. Oh yes. I hope all you get the message. The journey continues.
That's the man King this and that with what he has said is a big tune. He didn't wait for anybody to tell him. Really big song for Culturama 45. And King, you've said that you think with the two songs you have what it takes to repeat this year.
Definitely.
I like the message in this song, the sense that, you know, people should be encouraged to achieve and encourage each other. I think that you're right, there's a lot of negativity sometimes. And, you know, this afternoon I told somebody, sometimes a man pulling you down, not even to elevate himself, just pulling you down.
Exactly.
You know, you could understand sometimes if a man pull you down to try and get up.
Exactly.
But sometimes a man pull you down just because he can. And
Grudge
there's
and
no,
envy.
yeah, there's no benefit to him whatsoever. But the
Grudge
one
and
that he's
envy.
still doing. So I hear the message. I think it's a timely message, and I think it'll be a question of ultimately for the fans and for the judges.
Honorable,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ease out and leave room for somebody else
All right,
to come
all
in
right.
now. All
Good.
right.
Well, El Nature,
Yeah.
thanks for being with us. I appreciate you choosing this show to release both songs.
Yeah,
one from abroad and
I've-
one from right here, yeah.
Yes,
you know,
man.
you release both.
Yes,
and I'm
small
thankful for
world,
that.
you know.
Yes, man. So it
Yeah,
works.
man.
So it works. All right.
Yeah, man. Respect for
Hopefully
the
it didn't
time.
frighten you away, no, nature.
Oh no, of course not. Of course not, King.
It's a
Of
friendly
course
game.
not. Of course not. You know.
Nature, take it easy. All right. Good seeing you.
All right,
All
cool,
right.
man.
So, King, we really appreciate the opportunity to have a bit of a chat about the song. I think the standards for Calypso this year generally are quite high, and I have seen that. Sometimes they complain and say, fans complain and say, why not happening in terms of the Calypso arena. But I think that this year we really are seeing that the arena is doing better. It keeps growing. I think you're seeing more and more people in terms of getting involved. I'm told that this year, for example, you have the highest number of Calypsonians that we've had in quite some time who are here this year and going to be a part of this, what we are seeking to do. So for me, that's encouraging. Even at the junior level, I'm told that you have the highest number of junior Calypsonians as well. So it means that not just the veterans like yourself, but the youngsters are coming through as well.
That's true. It's very encouraging, and I hope that we get to see more and more seniors and juniors participate in Culturama in the upcoming years, because of course I can't be around forever, I keep the thing going so that there's somebody there, that there's a standard that you have to aim for, but it will come a time when I have to go off the stage and let others take over, but that time has not come yet.
Okay. All right. King This and That, singing something tonight, Journey of a King, and indicating, I think, a very positive message for all of us. We're lifting up each other, and really, I understand the song to say there's space for all of us. Everybody, there's room for opportunities for everybody, and you don't need to kill a man in order for you to get ahead. Everybody can get ahead. So, King, thank you very much for choosing On The Mark.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, that's the reigning king, King This and That, dropping his second song for Culturama 45. The question is, will he be able to repeat and create history? No Calypsonian has ever done that, and that clearly would be at the back of his mind as he defends his crown this year. King This and That, Keith Scarborough, singing for the 44th consecutive year. I think that is amazing. That in and of itself is truly phenomenal, that for over 4 decades, this man has not missed a Culturama. And I think that speaks volumes to his commitment. It speaks volumes to who he is and what it is he brings to the table insofar as this art form of Kaiso is concerned. He has numerous kings under his belt. He has been in the top 10 on numerous occasions, in the top 3, forgive me, on numerous occasions, and certainly has won the crown time and time again. As I said, a perennial favorite here, but you heard from Daddy Nature tonight that this year is his year, so it looks like it's going to be quite interesting. I remember when Nutsi was here, Nutsi said the same thing. Giro was here, Giro feels that this is his year, so it's going to be a ding-dong bacchanal, I think, for Kaiso this year. Now let's switch from the Kaiso, and we have a young lady who's here in the studio with us. She has come to join us, and she has something that she's come to offer tonight, also choosing On The Mark. I want to thank and welcome her and allow an opportunity to introduce herself.
Good night, everyone. My name is LaDonna Pemberton. My soca name is Soca Empress. I guess everybody know me. I'm entering into this year's Culturama Soca Monarch competition. The song that I'll be releasing tonight is a groovy song and is in the semi-finals.
So this song, you say it's in the semi-finals, meaning what? You already gone to the semi-finals?
Yes.
Oh, so that eliminations already? I wasn't even aware of that. I'm clearly out of touch. All right, so you're talking about the groovy. So would you be in the power segment as well, or just
Yes, I
groovy?
will.
So you'll be in both.
Yes.
But this song is for your groovy segment.
Groovy, yes.
And what's the name of the song?
The name of this song is Goody Fit.
Good,
Goody Fit.
good,
Goody, goody.
goody fit.
Goody Fit, yes.
Goody fit. Well, clearly I'm out of touch because I can't even understand what the young lady is telling me. Goody fit. We have that lined up? Okay, let's see if we can give this a listen.
All these things, all these things, all these things, all these things. Get me ready, that Fred and I touch the road, place leg one time. Let's go. Get me ready and set to go. Nobody's gonna stop the flow now. Say move the set to the waist and check and now I'm on the go. Everybody know where when the show. It's a good set that may let you know. One thing me tell you now. The goods wanted. When me roll up with me posse like a big bad army. Boom, we come feel mash it up. Boom, we come feel rock it down. No worry about nobody, but it's and your man now left. Goody, 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 goody fed. Wine for your man, pay, no, that's your best. Turn up the party. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Walk anybody. Walk it up, walk it up, walk it up. Come turn up the party. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Jam somebody. Jam it up, jam it up, jam it up.
Interesting song. I like it. Why did you decide to do this in sort of groovy rather than speeding it up a bit and using it as a power soca song? I mean, how do you make that selection? How do you decide what's going to be groovy and what's going to be power?
It depends on, well, okay. The producer, Duku, he sends me beats. And he will say, okay, this is a nice groovy beat. This is a nice power beat. Which I like this as a groovy song, which I have something for power, which is really power.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you, I think, competed as a Calypsonian 1 year, from what I recall. And then you decided to switch and move over to the soca section.
Well,
Calypso was too boring for you? Why
no,
the switch?
I always say that I would like to enter into the calypso again, but it's kind of hard to get a song. I got 2 songs this year, but I don't have any melody, and it's kind of hard to put a melody to.
For pubs of the Calypso. So am I understanding that the soca is easier? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It's easier?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
I don't know if soca artists would like to hear that. But that's an interesting analysis. So this, you haven't released your power
No, not
tune
yet.
yet. But this one definitely is for the groovy Monarch competition.
Yes.
Now, you have heard your competition. I assume you've heard some of the other songs. So how are you feeling?
Well, I'm very confident. I have a good song. I have a great song. And I'm hoping to go out and do my best at semifinals, make it to finals, and put down a spectacular performance. I feel like I will do a lot better than last year. Yes.
And you were in the finals last year?
Yes, I was.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to congratulate you. Thank you again for choosing On The Mark to release this song. I know I see you have someone with you. I don't know if he wants to say anything. Is he just here to accompany you, or is he part of the production?
Yes, he is. We both wrote this song together.
Well, yeah. It's been a while now. LaDonna asking me to come on board and work with her. So this year, we made it happen, and I just hope people like it. Duku did a really good job with the beat and that type of stuff. And
Who's this? What's the name?
Duku, Wiki Brandy.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he used to work with Odyssey and and Ultrasonic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we came together, we did this, and just hope the people accept it and she goes out and do a really good performance. And
Let me ask you something. Both of you have been around music. Do you get a sense when you produce something you know that it's going to be a hit, or is it only when you play it for people and people respond? I mean, are you in the studio sometime you hear something, you finish something and you say even before this is released that this is going to be a hit, or is it a hit and miss kind of thing that you just try a thing and see what the people like?
Well, most time it's most like a hit and miss. In the studio you get a vibe. And it's like human nature. The more you see something and the more you hear it, you get accustomed to it. So because you're doing it in the studio, you hear it all the time, you have to put on the backups. Because truth is, doing a 3-minute song takes like 6-7 hours. And then for you to be listening to that song 6-7 hours, after a while, it doesn't matter what song it is or who's singing it, they just think your song is good. So they're like, in the studio, and then you hit the market and you're just like, you don't know. So for me, the answer is you really don't know. You can feel something in the studio, making it, the energy and all of that, but it all depends on when you hit the waves and,
I hit the street.
Hit the
That's what
street.
people say. Okay.
hit the street.
All right. Well, this culture arm, I think, is shaping up very, very nicely. I think, of course, we have our second homecoming celebration as well. In fact, I got a message just today that a family of 17 is flying in from the U.S. to have a kind of family reunion here. So I expect that a lot of people are going to be here. Interestingly enough, I was looking at some numbers on my way here, and just from the Charleston port and the Oahu dock, we had 7,485 people that moved on Music Festival weekend. So that to me says a lot in terms of what we can expect in terms of traffic. This is people moving from Nevis to St. Kitts and back. So you could imagine now when the action is over on Nevis and the Kittitians, clearly they have a much larger population if they decide to move and come over. And so we clearly would like to see that reciprocated and to see people over there really coming over and supporting what's going on over here as well. I think the big bands from St. Kitts are going to be involved in Culturama in some way, shape or form. And so the idea really is to bring people together and see what we can make the best of it, because what I see at Music Festival, I thought to myself that it was so overwhelmingly supported by the people from Nevis going over that you really want to see the same thing happening in reverse. And I think that from all that I'm hearing and all that I'm seeing, it looks like this is going to be a big celebration for our 45th anniversary. The music is good. The people participating, the more people know. I don't know how many people have come out in the soca genre for the competition. I know certainly in Junior Calypso and Senior Calypso the numbers are more than they were last year. So we have any newcomers in soca this year?
Yeah, we have a few.
Okay.
Yes, we have a few.
Okay, so that's good. It says that we're growing and that the popularity is not waning. The problem you have is you're moving in the other direction when you can't get 2 soca artists and you can't get a couple of Calypsonians to sing. But certainly with over 20 Calypsonians and quite a large number of soca artists as well, it seems to me that people are enthusiastic. And we certainly look forward to a big Culturama. And I want to thank you for coming and releasing here and using this platform. I think the whole world would have heard your song tonight. And so we will get the feedback from them, and I'm sure you'll get the feedback. As you hit street tomorrow, people will tell you whether they like it or not. Yes. And that is why I asked the question, because I've heard some songs that have gone on to become hits, and I don't know how.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how.
The same thing as well.
And then, I think Rihanna had a song there about, what was this song? Every time I hear it, I get annoyed. Work.
Yeah. I had the same feeling.
You had the same feeling?
Yes.
And I say work. And I keep listening for something, and this song is a monster jam, work. And I thought to myself, so sometimes you have something. Sometimes it's a question of timing too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, do you bring it at a particular time? And then in the soca genre, what I find is that a lot of people, it seems, who have something that is, like Super Blue and them used to get your flag and wave, and so when there's a dance, dollar wine, there's something to go with it.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're asking you to do an action. Hands up, that kind of thing, and I think that adds to it. So it's going to be an interesting time. I think this Culturama is going to be interesting. I went and visited the venues yesterday. We've spent again some money and making sure that the venues are in top condition, and I really look forward to you, the artists, bringing it and doing the very best you can.
Yes, I will.
So congratulations.
Thank
and we look
you.
forward to hearing good things about you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you for the opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Good.
No, good night.
Thanks for coming. All the best. All right. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had nearly an hour now of music, of entertainment, and I'm very happy that you were able to accommodate 2 big Calypsonians, but also accommodate one of our young and upcoming soca artists, and right here on the mark. Now, let me get back to some programming. And just to say, thank you for all those who tune in. It is 5 minutes to the hour 9 o'clock on my watch, my clock here at the studio. I am trying to find here some information for you because I want to be able to say to the people that we are promised that we will be coming to New York City, and I'm very pleased to announce to all of our friends and family in the United States, particularly those on the East Coast, and more specifically those in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, that the Concerned Citizens Movement-led administration will be coming to see you on Friday, the 5th of July. That's this Friday. And we will have a meeting starting at 7 p.m. We will be at the Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue, right there in the Bronx, New York, 10460. So Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue. That's where we'll be having our meeting. I hope to be in attendance. With me will be the Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, and the proud representative of the people of St. Paul's, the Honorable Spencer Brand. We hope to be there. Refreshments will be provided. and we hope to have a very exciting time. We're certainly looking forward to seeing as many people as possible. We know the guys who drive down from New Haven and other areas in Connecticut. We know people come sometimes from far west Boston, and we're inviting you. We know that New York tends to be a magnet for people who come for the 4th of July celebrations, and that is why we've decided that we will have this meeting close to the 4th of July, just the day after your Independence Day. I will not clearly be here again before Independence. Tomorrow the United States celebrates its Independence Day, of course the day that in Vision Alexander Hamilton contributed to, and I want to take an opportunity therefore tonight to wish all of our friends in the United States, our family in the United States, but also the government and people of the United States, happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. And certainly we look forward to being there with you on the 5th of July and to participate in what we think is going to be a very interactive session as we continue our conversations with the people. We have had 2 town hall meetings here already, one at the church hall in Nevis, in Charlestown, I'm sorry, the other at the Cotton Ground Community Center. We are now moving and taking this to the diaspora in New York. We as a party in government have not had an opportunity to interact with our supporters and our citizenry in the diaspora since the last election. And we think that it's important that we give an opportunity to report to them and allow them to access their questions and to clarify matters. We understand that there's a lot of noise in the public square. We understand that people take to social media and they say a lot of things. Our job, of course, is to bring the facts and to allow you, the people, to make your decision. We are also, of course, aware that people who live in the diaspora are very heavily invested in Nevis and what goes on here. And so we would like to invite them out to be a part of it. We also, of course, would invite our brothers and sisters from St. Kitts who are hearing and who are regular listeners to the show as well, that they can come along, because I'm sure they too may have questions of their own, and we'll be delighted to entertain and to respond to those questions as best as we can. And so I want a packed audience. I'm calling on one and all to come out, those in D.C. and Maryland and Delaware, those who can make the trip over. It's not so far away, just a few hours in terms of driving, and we look forward to seeing you right there at the Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue, Bronx, New York, 10460, this Friday, July 5th, 2019. It's going to be a holiday weekend, so Friday, July 5th, 2019, and we start at 7 p.m. You can come straight from work for those of you who happen to be working Friday, because we'll have refreshments there available for you. And so we look forward to seeing you and to having an interactive session as we continue our conversations with the people. In attendance, I hope to be there as the Premier of Nevis. We have, of course, the Honorable Deputy Premier Alexis Jeffers, and we have the Honorable Minister and proud representative of the people of St. Paul's, the Honorable Spencer Brand. And so we look forward certainly to seeing you there and to us having a good session with you. I was mentioning just a moment ago, because I think I want to get back to it. I want to take a moment to congratulate the Honorable Lindsey Grant, my brother, my minister, federal minister, brother minister in the federal cabinet, the federal government, this unity government, and minister of tourism. He has transformed the face of tourism in St. Kitts and Nevis, and he has done a phenomenal job with unprecedented numbers visiting our shores. And this year, he was at the helm of the music festival, together, of course, with Chairman Damian Hobson and, of course, Ambassador John L. Powell. And they, along with their entire team, I know it requires a big team, they pulled off, I think, a spectacular music festival. They had major artists. The environment was changed because, due to difficulties with cricket, they had to move it to the Kim Collins Stadium. We understand nothing happens in this country without criticism, but I think at the end of the day, they did a marvelous job, and I want to go on record to congratulate them. I felt very proud as a citizen of this country to be there and to see people from all around the region and the world who had come to be a part of the St. Kitts Music Festival. And the people of Nevis, I want to commend you for your incredible support. Every corner I turned in St. Kitts, I saw people from Nevis who came to support the music festival and thereafter the White Sands event. I was curious, so I asked NASPA, can you give me some numbers as to how many people used the Charlestown and Oahu Pier docks which are under NASPA's jurisdiction over the period of the weekend. And over the period Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that 4-day period, some 7,485 people would have used those two facilities. 7,485 people moved back and forth over the weekend. That was the Music Fest on White Sands weekend. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is an incredible number. Bear in mind that this does not include the numbers who moved from the Sea Bridge. This does not include numbers who moved, I'm told, from a dock that is over there at Yachtsman Grill. So, this is just the numbers that moved from Charleston and Orly. When you add Sea Bridge, for example, I took the Sea Bridge over, and the line of cars that was there on Monday to come back, I thought was simply incredible. And I'm talking Monday afternoon. So, it tells you the numbers. And I think if 7,485 people moved back and forth from Charlestown and from Orly, then the number, the real number, is probably more like 10,000 in terms of overall traffic between St. Kitts and Nevis over the course of that period from Thursday to Sunday. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is simply incredible. That also doesn't include private boats, because clearly people have been going back and forth on their own boats as well. And so the movement, the traffic, has been considerable. I think that it says something. It says something about the strength of the economy and the fact that people have disposable income, because the shows are not cheap. The ability to go back and forth is expensive for many. And the fact that people went in such large numbers is demonstrative, I think, of the fact that they have discretionary income. They have discretionary money to spend. That's always a good sign. I also think it speaks to the sort of oneness that we're seeing. When Team Unity proposed the government, one of the things that we promised was to seek to bring the country together. Because we had always had St. Kitts over here, Nevis over there, and never the twain shall meet. And I've referred to it publicly as a limping marriage, because I think that is an accurate description of the relationship, that we have limped along all these years. And Team Unity did promise that we would seek to do better. We would seek to bring our people together through the politics, yes, but also through the people-to-people interactions. And when I see these large numbers moving, I am inspired and encouraged. And I want to tell you that I think that this augurs well for the Mango Festival, Mango and Food Festival, which starts tomorrow right here in Nevis from the 4th to the 7th of July. And then for Culturama, which kicks off on the 25th, I think it is, of July, and goes until the 6th of August. I'm expecting that the same numbers I'm putting at about 10,000 that moved back and forth for the Music Festival on White Sands, you're going to see an equal or perhaps even greater number moving back and forth for the activities for the Nevis Mango and Food Festival happening on the 4th to the 7th of July, and thereafter Culturama, which is happening from the 25th of July to the 6th of August. I'm very encouraged, ladies and gentlemen, by what I'm seeing. I'm thankful to the hundreds and thousands of people from Nevis who opted to spend time and money in St. Kitts over the weekend, and equally grateful to the hundreds and thousands of Kittitians who I know will grace Nevis for the Mango Festival starting tomorrow and thereafter for Culturama 45. And that is why tonight we spend some time to hear a little soca, but also to hear from the Calypsonians themselves, to hear this and that in his bid to repeat and make history, to hear Daddy Nature in his bid to be crowned for the first time after 10 years. These are all part and parcel, I think, of the life and times here, and something that we ought rightly to be proud of as we continue in our efforts to build our island and build Nevis. Now I want to touch on a matter which has, like a lot of matters here, flared up in some controversy. I think unnecessarily, but nevertheless, we understand we live in a democracy, and in a democracy we will have different voices. And even some are discordant when you're trying to sing a beautiful harmony, and some are out of tune. Nevertheless, they are entitled to be heard. And so we have, as a government, always to be responsible and to be responsive. And I realize that something started up as a big issue, it appears, in the minds of some, certainly, to do with the storage of some fill material at the Fort Charles, the property of the Fort Charles Hotel right here in Bath Village. I was a little perplexed as to why this ended up being some kind of controversy. I saw a note from the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, which is indicating quite clearly that they have taken no issue with what is being done. That to me is instructive, because I've been in government now for a few years, and I can tell you the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society is one of the strongest organizations on the island when it comes to our history and our heritage and preserving it. And the fact that they are saying they take no issue, but are simply asking to be kept informed and advised, I think is instructive. Now, what is the hullabaloo about? The Four Seasons Resort, as we know, large sections of it are being demolished. It's being demolished because during this period of closure, they're effectively rebuilding the central area of that resort. They are rebuilding it over the course of this month, last month, June, July, August, September, with the intent to reopen in October. And from what I've heard, they are already ahead of schedule, and I'm praying and hoping that that continues. Now, clearly, to remove buildings and pools and all of that, there was a considerable amount of hard material. When I say that, I mean concrete, steel material, that kind of thing. The government took a decision through the Minister of Works, the Honorable Spencer Brand, and his team, he's also the Minister with responsibility for planning, that we would wish to have that material stored somewhere. That we would not want that material to simply be disposed of, to be thrown away, because we felt that that material would be valuable material to be used in a project that we have conceptualized and that is now being put together for the preservation and reclamation of property in the Fort Charles area. Now, what is the relevance of that? Many may not know that Fort Charles has been allowed to be overgrown and abandoned. It's a significant historical site. But more importantly, if you were to go to the seaward side of Fort Charles, you would realize that huge caverns, caves, have been created under the fort because the ocean has systematically eroded the land. And so you have now some huge caves that have been created under the fort, and all the advice we have had says to us that the fort will at some point collapse into the ocean. What are we to do? We can simply do nothing, as governments over the years have done nothing, or we can say, can we come up with a plan to try and save the fort by putting in some reclamation and some protection from the sea? And so the minister and his team said, can we store the material here, the material that we intend to use when that reclamation takes place, as part and parcel of that process? Certainly we're going to have rocks, we may even have to have some concrete. But it's hard material, it would make good sense to store it there until we're ready to use it. In addition, if Four Seasons' material was not going to be used by us in some way, as I have outlined, then it would have to be dumped. Where would it be dumped? The logical answer, at the dump at Long Point. That is our solid waste facility. And then the question begs itself, do we have the capacity over there to handle this level of waste, concrete and steel and that kind of thing, where clearly there's no value of it being over there? So here we are saying there's value in this material. Let us use it to protect Fort Charles, not to damage, to protect Fort Charles. And let us store it on the very site that we're going to do the reclamation. That is all we're seeking to do. You hear a whole hullabaloo now. We're destroying the fort, we're desecrating history, we're doing all of this. I myself became very nervous because when I read the hullabaloo, I said to myself, my goodness, what has happened? Because I would have thought that backhoes and bulldozers and excavators were over there digging off the fort. Only to find out that all that has happened is trucks have gone and deposited the material in an area there, which we hope that we will use in the near future. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, as a government and as a Premier of the island of Nevis, I can tell you that we work hard every day, seeking to do the best we can for the people of Nevis. We are not perfect. I've often been very clear about that and often quick to point that out. None of us is perfect. I remind us all that if my understanding of the Bible is good, then God would have created two perfect beings. We had Adam and we had Jesus. And even Adam, a perfect man, ultimately sinned and fell short of the glory of the Lord. And so what we do is we try our best. We are not saying, and I will never sit here and suggest to you, that every decision that we arrive at is the correct decision, or that there could be no better decision than the one we've arrived at. That to me would be arrogance to an extreme. But I want to assure the public that we think about these things, and whatever we do, we seek to do in the best interest of the people of Nevis. And I cannot for the life of me understand how storing some valuable material for purposes of an ultimate project to save Fort Charles can be seen in any way, shape, or form as something that is bad for Nevis. What are we to do? Shall we simply allow the forces of nature and the pressure of nature to let the fort fall into the ocean and be lost to us forever? Is that the alternative? And if that is not the alternative, then why would you have difficulty? Why would any person who says they love Nevis have difficulty with a government who says we wish to formulate a plan to save the fort, to protect the fort, because the fort is in imminent danger of collapse? And as part of that plan, here's some material that we would want to use. What is wrong with that? If somebody was excavating an area of land and there were large stones available and the government says, bring them here and deposit them here because we plan to use them for purposes of a revetment or embankment or protection or reclamation, what would be the issue with that? So I'm now hearing all kinds of spurious and silly allegations about government being in some kind of arrangement with Four Seasons and all rubbish. And I'm saying why? Because we have said that there's material here that we can use and that we have and are developing a plan to try and save the fort. Now let me remind us, because I'm still a politician, some may forget, because I've sought to put myself in governance mode. And I therefore have said to my team, let us focus and ignore some of the noise. But let us not forget that the greatest damage that has been done to Fort Charles has been caused by the NRP. I want to make that clear. Because they're the ones who gave a 35-year lease to a developer with no exit clause. I want to say that again. No exit clause. Most leases give you an opportunity to get out of the lease if the person doesn't perform or for whatever other reason. Normally you give a couple of months notice. Those of you who are leasing property, you rent a house, you rent a space, there's always what we call an exit clause. NRP gave a lease for 35 years, no exit clause. Nobody could get out of it for 35 years. And then they allowed the construction of buildings all on that fort property. And so I ask a question rhetorically. Will those who now trumpet their credentials as environmentalists and historical preservationists and are fighting against a government which is saying we must try to save Fort Charles, were they concerned then that the whole of Fort Charles was to be a hotel and condominium development? That they allowed the construction or half construction of a number of buildings over there, which were then allowed over the 35 years of this lease that could not be broken to deteriorate and create an eyesore? I'm told that some of those very buildings are now at risk of falling into the ocean from being undermined. I mean, what is a government to do? Because we can't have it both ways. And we as a responsible government have said we must do something to try and see whether we can at least ameliorate the effects of the ocean on that fort. So why are we being criticized for that when others gave a lease and said turn the fort into a hotel and a condominium? Let people build on it. And then when those people didn't finish the building, let them abandon it. and it's been left over there as an eyesore. So, I hear some now say, oh, Nevis is trying to get World Heritage Site from UNESCO, and this will somehow damage it. How? If abandoned buildings at the historic Fort Charles could not be the reason for us not getting UNESCO certification, tell me how it is that storing some debris there for purposes of a plan to protect the fort would prevent us. I think we need to get real in this country. We need to start to talk to each other as if all of us have sense. And stop this constant emotionalism. I've been in opposition, you know, I know what it's like. But one of the reasons why I was an appealing politician in opposition, you know why? Because I brought good sense and logic and sensible arguments. You know why also? Whenever the then NRP government did something that I thought made sense, I wasn't afraid to tell them so. I wasn't afraid to tell them so. I remember it was on this very show that I congratulated Joseph Parry, the Honorable Joseph Parry, then Premier, for his efforts in preserving Winier coming to Nevis. Those who have been with this show over the years. That sticks out in my mind because I remember. And some people said to me, oh, don't congratulate them for anything. I said, no. When you do good, you ought to be congratulated because this is our island. There will be plenty of reasons to criticize you for when you do bad. So I understand politics. I've been in it for a while. I understand it. And I'm saying some of what is now passing as politics is abject nonsense. One, the messengers can't carry the message. You know why? Because nobody listening to a message from a messenger who's a failure. It's very difficult to achieve. You're going to tell a youngster you want to find work for that youngster. You want to create an environment where that youngster can thrive. Naturally, the youngster will ask you, well, where are you working? What environment have you created for yourself? And if you can't create one for you, how are you going to create one for me? I think that's a logical thing. If you have had a life in government and you have used that life in government to benefit yourself and your family, you have that record, then naturally you are not a good messenger because the people that you're seeking to take a message to tell them that you will come to be their servant, they will say, but oh, you had the opportunity before and you demonstrated that you served yourself, not us. So why must we give it that opportunity again? I was in a conversation recently and a young person said to me that one of them who's now up and down, prancing up and down town like a clown, they said the only thing left for him to survey for he and his family is seawater. So maybe that's why they're concerned about Fort Charles. Maybe Fort Charles was next on the list of house and land to go to he and his family. People have a record. So sometimes now when they jump up and they start to talk, you want to know, well, you all think Nevis people don't know? They have not seen? They have seen. And therein lies the danger of some of these people. So they are false messengers, false prophets. Even the Bible warns us about them. And then some of them dress up their language so nicely. They tell you how concerned they are about the environment. But their concerns are of recent vintage. They're only concerned because the CCM is now in government. And the CCM politics is not their politics. And that's okay. And so I suggested recently on social media, I said perhaps it would be better if some of them preface what they're saying by, I'm a supporter of the NRP. And that is why I'm saying what I'm saying. I think that would be fair and people would understand. When you started telling me how much you love the country, how much you're interested in the environment, and I said to you, well, you love the country so much, when NRP give a 35-year lease of the same historic Fort Charles with no escape clause, what did you say? Answer, nothing. When they put all them buildings over there and then later allow them to be abandoned, what did you say? Answer, nothing. But the CCM government now, which is seeking to develop a plan to save Fort Charles, you now have an issue because you're an environmentalist. There's a old saying here in Nevis that says, some of you will try to fool Shirley, but you could never fool Panko. So no matter tell nobody you fool me. I want sometimes for people to say, I spoke to Premier Brantley. He heard me. He listened to me. But I also wanted to say, I didn't fool him, because it is important for me, for you to understand, that I had to fool. And that is part of it here. We're trying to fool people. We come in, we're so concerned. We're so interested. You're concerned about the Four Seasons workers. They're laid off and the government didn't do a good job. What is the government supposed to do, or was supposed to do? And sometimes I hear this and I want people to reflect on what it is that they're being told. Can the government tell TDC who to hire, who to fire, what to pay? Can we tell National Bank you must pay a bonus to your workers this year? Sometimes the conversation that I hear, I think, is beneath all of us. Because we must understand that there's a difference between the private sector and the public sector. If you tell me that the government must do more for the civil servants and public workers, well, that's a discussion that we could have. But you can't tell me as a government that we must ensure that the workers at Four Seasons get this or get that. We can seek to negotiate, we can discuss. But at the end of the day, Four Seasons, government has no interest in Four Seasons. We have no ownership. And I continue to say that this government, and I'm proud of what we've been able to do. And we're not done yet, because we've continued to say that we're going to try to find other ways and means to try and benefit those workers to cushion the impact. Well, let us never forget that the 25% salary that some are saying is not enough. The Four Seasons didn't have to give anything at all. There was no obligation, no legal requirement. They could have simply said, we have to close for 4 months to deal with our reconstruction. See you in October. And then people would have to do what they have to do. Instead, the Four Seasons said, we would like to hold on to our workers. So we're going to give you 25% of the salary that you would have earned, even though you're not working. Matter of fact, even if you get a job for the 4 months, we'll still give you the 25%. And you will continue to have all of your medical and other benefits. And then when we reopen, you have your job. There is no hiatus in your service. No interruption of your years of service. The government now has said, we'll ensure from that 25% that there is no social security deduction, there is no social levy deduction. And so whatever it works out to be, you get all of it in your hand, again in an effort to cushion the impact. The government, under my hand as Premier, has written to every single financial house in News. National Bank, First Caribbean, all of them. And I've said to them, can you find a way to cushion the impact on these workers who might be clients of the bank? So those who have car loans, house loans, mortgages and the like. And I am pleased that the response has been overwhelming and it has been positive. Some of the banks have said to me, we are going to waive payments over the 4 months. Some have said we're going to waive all principal, so people only have to pay interest over the 4 months. Others have said to me, we have been working because, sir, you gave us early warning, because I spoke about this since December of last year. And as a result, we were able to work with those folks and encourage them to put aside a little money. Remember I used to say so? Some of us choose to forget, but I used to say so because when I was a boy, my mother used to send me over by the Amos Chapel, where Pastor Theophilus Kelly, a good man, used to preach in those days. And I remember well, I used to go there, and then Sunday time, Thursday night and then Sunday, we go on to the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. And if you've ever been to the Kingdom Hall, you know everything. If they tell you 1 + 1 = 2, they say turn with us to John 3 and verse 6 to get the evidence. Mine Don't bother go turn to John 3 and verse 6, because you don't say number 1 plus 1 equal 2. This is what you call me speaking metaphorically. But that was my growing up. And I remember well the biblical admonition that in days of plenty, what you do? You store up your grain. I recall that there was, I believe it was in Egypt, when you had 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. You store up your grain. Now if famine comes upon you unexpectedly, that is one thing. But a responsible government as we are, heeding the biblical admonition, we spoke to our people since last year, December, and said to our people, store up your grain, because the Four Seasons has said to us that it's going to be a bumper season and that people will be making more money than normal. And I'm told by people down there that last year, the season just gone, they had the highest service charge point that the hotel had seen in the last several years. So people made money. And I said to them, store up that money, because you know that come June, there will be a period of famine. And I was so happy when some of the banks spoke to me through their managers to say that that is exactly what they did. And so they encourage workers to pay a little more. So I was told by one bank that some workers actually prepaid, because as they made money, they paid more than they should be paying. And so they're current to take themselves over that bad period. I want to say kudos to those workers. Congratulations. That's what I talk about, people being responsible. And so the outcry, it seemed, that people were looking for. You're not hearing it, you know. Easy, like Sunday morning, 1 month is already gone. We're now into July. June gone. And the number of people, including some of the Four Seasons workers I see down in White Sands at Music Fest, I believe that they're okay. And many of them have said to me that they're using the time to go visit family abroad, spend a little time, that in fact the break is a break that they could look and refresh themselves. Others have said to me that they've been able to find part-time work. Some are working with DCK. Some are going to be employed when we start the road project very shortly from Cotton Ground, the Island Main Road project. Others have fit in here and there. The government has been able to fit in a few. Beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, people have been out there. One young lady tells me that she's a chef. She works in the kitchen at Four Seasons. She said, well, same cooking I'm doing now, they're doing for myself now. So I'm making food and I'm selling and I'm doing okay. And so preparation. So when they say a government has not negotiated, what are they talking about? How much more can I say, or how much more could we do in the circumstances? Our job was to protect the workers and protect the jobs of the workers. And I'm confident that all of those workers affected, come October, can go back into their jobs at a brand new resort. A resort which I feel is going to be once again the very top of luxury offerings in the Caribbean and the world. And so I get back to my central theme, that oftentimes when we hear the constant nattering nabobs of extreme negativity and everything that they seek to make into a big issue, you listen because they have a right to speak. But at the end of the day, I encourage our people to think, to be in a position to analyze for themselves what is happening, and to recognize that often what is being decried and denigrated is really your government seeking to do the best it can for you. And the examples that abound, I remind people of the water taxi pay at Wally. The criticism that came from some quarters about it, look at it now. It's not yet complete because we have to do some landward work still. But look at it now. Look at how it has lifted Nevis and what we are offering here on the island. That is the kind of thing when you hear the noise and you say, we had the Four Seasons, Four Seasons did some dredging of sand offshore. Oh, this hullabaloo. Same environmentalists. Mind you, Four Seasons have been dredging now for years. But they come out of the woodwork now because of CCM government. But as a consequence of Four Seasons doing what they did and protecting that beach, that Pinnies, to the grace of God and their efforts, no damage in the last storms. And so the hotel was able to keep going. That is, ladies and gentlemen, what we are seeking to do. And sometimes difficult decisions will be made. Decisions that naturally, in a democracy, would have persons who are not in agreement. But you have elected a government to govern. You've elected me to lead this government. And I'm not going to lead from behind. I'm going to lead from in front. And I am here to tell you tonight that I stand 100% with Minister Spencer Brand and his team. You know why? Because I know that they are working hard for the people of Nevis and they're coming from a place of genuine service. It's not about self-aggrandizement. It's not about wealth acquisition. It's not about grabbing land for them and their daddy. This is about working hard for the people of Nevis. That is why I am supportive of them. And any of my ministers who take decisions as they are asked to do and put there by the people to do, in the best interest of the people of this country, are going to have my support. Because I am not going to shy away or shrug. If you go after them, you come after me. And my plan is to stand firmly with them, because I know that when we have our discussion in the cabinet and we are moving, I know the direction in which we're seeking to move this island. And so if the only complaint is that we are storing some material at Fort Charles in order to have it so that we can use it in our plan for reclamation and protection of Fort Charles, then I say that's a criticism that I'm prepared to accept. But to say to those who might be genuinely concerned about the preservation of that historic fort, that your government is committed to doing exactly that. You know, we talk about Fort Charles. Since I'm on it, let me mention Fort Ashby. You see how Fort Ashby has been allowed to be overgrown? That's how we met it, you know, when we got into government. But we not only met it like that, you know. We met people who had concocted a plan. And Fort Ashby now was to be transformed into something else. And we said no. We thought there were legal issues with how this was done. But also, we did not think that it was appropriate for a historical fort like Fort Ashby to be so irreparably changed in terms of its character. And so what you see over there now is part and parcel, because as a government we had said, no, we're not going to go down that road. NRP again, at work. They had granted a 30-something year lease to Fort Ashby, and when that one was finished, they wanted to grant another one for, I think, 25 years. I'll get the details and come, because there'll be a time for that. And we said, no. These are properties that should be available to all the people of Nevis. They're historic sites. They have value well beyond any developer. But this is what they were seeking to do. So when they come now and they start to pontificate and tell us about how self-righteous they are and how committed they are to the environment, we have to wonder, what is this about? Because you have a record. And the record doesn't suggest you have any care for the environment. None whatsoever. So these are things. When NRP was there, the sea bridge was built. I have no fight with the sea bridge. I think it has brought tremendous value to the island of Nevis. But when it was built, I challenge anybody, where was the EIA? Where's the environmental impact assessment? Where were the town hall meetings held to discuss that project? And where was the planning approval that was given to have it done? These are questions I think that we should ask, because these are questions that impact the integrity. I got to go back again, talk about the messengers Them can't bring a message to you when they have no integrity as messengers, because they have a record. So when some of these projects were done, I want to ask the question, where was all this environment? Because now, you know, if we say, God forbid, we're going to move from point A to point B, Nevis, as a government, they're crying out. Where's the environmental impact assessment and where the town hall meetings are made? And not that I'm saying that those things ought not to be done. I'm simply saying you did none of those things when you were there. It's what makes you now so qualified to speak. Somebody thinks you must hush your mouth. Be quiet. Because you were there and you did things that you now say are wrong without first apologizing to the people of Nevis for doing them. And as leader of this government, I'm telling you that I will continue to ensure that we do things the right way. We're not just going to go over to Fort Charles and start to dump things in the sea. No. We're storing some material there. Once we've had a plan that is approved by the technical team and we go to the public and have public consultations, then we will start whatever project we're going to do there. That's a responsible government at work. And I want to make that clear. Four Seasons is doing what they're doing. I said to the NRP, stop cost Four Seasons. Stop attacking them. They invest in tens of millions, of US dollars here in bringing that property back. You say about foreign investment, there's none coming into the country. That project alone is over 40 million US dollars. The largest single investment we've seen in over 2 decades in the island of Nevis. Let us embrace investment and investors. Because even while you're cackling that there's no investment, there's no activity, which is true, because there's a tremendous amount of activity, you are attacking those that we do have. You have all kinds of things to say. Nevis, ladies and gentlemen, is on the rise, and Nevis will continue to rise. You know why? Because Nevis has committed leadership and a team that is dedicated to the island of Nevis. Not a team that is about self, but a team that is about the people of Nevis. And that is what we'll seek to do and continue to do. It is 20 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. I haven't opened the lines at all tonight. You know why? I wanted people to see that they still have the necessary stamina, the capacity, the vim, vigor, and vitality to go for 2 hours without any cause. I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to say. And I can talk and talk and talk because when you have the facts at your fingertips and at your disposal, you can speak. You can speak eloquently. You can speak at length. Because at the end of the day, I have demonstrated through my life and my leadership and my approach to politics that I am a credible messenger. And to the natural nabobs of extreme negativity, I tell you, go sit down. Take it easy. Because the people of Nevis are not persuaded by your empty rhetoric. Empty barrels making noise. Not persuaded. You're not going to persuade a soul. And if you are at a stage now where you're about to collect Social Security and still begging Nevis people for a job, something got to be wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my last word. It is 20 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. I have no idea whether there's anybody out there who might want to say something to us, but if you do, the numbers to call are 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Just to remind one and all, those in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, those in Boston and elsewhere who might be in the New York area, those in Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, who might be in the New York area for the 4th of July, your government, the Concerned Citizens Movement-led NIA, will be in New York. Conversations with the people. It is a series of town hall meetings that we're having. We've had one so far in the great parish of St. Paul's, one in the great parish of St. Thomas's, and we're coming now to the great parish of New York. We're coming to New York to talk to the people there. It will be on Friday the 5th of July, this coming Friday, 7 p.m. sharp, at the Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue, right there in the Bronx, New York 10460. If my memory of the Bronx is correct, I think the number 2 train should take you right there. You get off at 174th Street, I believe, and you should be all right. Maybe you go a little higher up, I'm not sure. But certainly Those of you who are there will know where to go. Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue, Bronx, New York. Refreshments will be provided, so if you're coming from work, just come straight. We have you covered. Town Hall meeting, the NIA Town Hall, Conversations with the People, Friday, July 5th, 2019, this Friday, 7 p.m. sharp, at the Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue, Bronx, New York, 10460. In attendance will be the Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, the great representative for St. Paul's, the Honorable Spencer Brand, and yours truly, the Premier of Nevis. We hope to be there. We couldn't take the full team because we need somebody to continue to govern whilst we are away. And so the Honorable Eric Evelyn will act as Premier in our absence. And so we want to encourage the people to come out in their numbers. We want to see a packed hall. We expect that it will be a good conversation because it gives us the first opportunity after the elections of December of 2017 to report to the people of Nevis and St. Kitts who are living in that particular area. I continue to say that the diaspora is a critical part of us and who we are. And I will continue to engage with them because many of them, as we know, invest here, they support families here. And most importantly, they have an abiding love and commitment to this island and this country. And so we are coming to see you. We're coming to speak to you, and we want to invite all petitions and divisions to the Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue, Bronx, New York, 10460, this Friday, starting at 7 p.m. sharp. And as I said, come hungry, because we will have lots of refreshments available for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. We have 15 minutes left. I'm your host, Mark Brantley. If those of you just tuned in, then clearly you're seeing me and hearing me for the first time because you've only now tuned in. I am Mark Brantley, and I'm here as host of this show. Another edition. Every Wednesday we're here from 8 to 10. It's an important show. It's a big show. It's a big platform. It's a show where we discuss ideas. We have debates. It's a show where we expose our local artists and culture. Anything that is happening in the community has made its way right here to On the Mark. It is important that we also take your calls, and on that basis, let me take this call and see what this caller has to say. Good evening, you're On the Mark. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
You're On the Mark.
You can't stop talking.
Hello? I'm sorry. Caller, please try again. I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you. And then as you came through, you cut out. So it is 1:45. If you're calling, please turn the radio off or turn it down, because that sometimes provides some feedback. And if you're listening via the internet, then please listen to your phone. That's where you're going to hear me and the conversation rather than listening, because there's a bit of a delay when you listen on your computer. So I'm sorry about that, but you can certainly try again. 869-469-1616 or 1700. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're On the Mark.
Yeah, you can't stop talking with your boring speech.
Okay, well, give us a little exciting speech to help the show.
Every week you hear about hectare with house and land, house and land. People get fed up of that now, you know.
Well, if you're fed up of it, that's good for you. You got a house and land too?
No.
Well, you didn't get any, but you're fed up of it?
Every week.
No, I'm saying you didn't get any, but you're fed up to hear about it.
No, because you see something, you tell the people them over and over.
Okay. Well, sometimes you need to remind people of things that have happened. You know? We remind people of all the things that have happened. It's part of our history.
I'm telling people that you're going to be bringing some major project to Nevis. That's what you're supposed to be saying. I can't see the reason why you're going to states go make nice to the people and them. What you going to tell them?
Well, I'll tell them the same.
What you going to tell them what?
I'll tell them the same thing I'm telling you. I'm having a conversation. The same way I give you an opportunity, they deserve the same opportunity. You're no more citizen than them. Well, you said there's nothing to tell them. That I don't think that everybody agrees with you, caller. That is your opinion.
What project you going to call that you do to scrappy road?
Well, it's okay, caller. Whatever you wish to call, caller, whatever you wish to call is a matter for you. You read from the same script every time you're calling. You say nothing new. You contribute absolutely no idea. You complain about everything. If the roads are scrappy, then that's a matter for you. The people who are using the roads may not feel them to be scrappy. I see you walking up and down the same roads, and at least now you're not thumping your toe. Because the roads are now well done. They're done by us. The trucks you see moving are local. The backhoes you see moving are local. The excavators you see moving are local. that has been created because of government with a vision. Hitherto roads were done, lots of roads were done, but they were all done by foreign companies. So what you see as scrappy, the people of Nevis see as progress. And so it's a matter for you if you wish to continue to call in, as I say, and sing from the same hymn sheet, because I don't know that anybody's listening to you with the pronouncements that you're making. How could infrastructural development of the quality that we have been producing be termed scrappy, as you put it? How? So, again, I go back. The messengers have to have credibility. If you have no credibility as a messenger, nobody will listen to your message. Because what you're calling scrappy for roads, you know how many people are asking, can we have a replication? Drive through Braziers. Drive through Brownhill now. You leave Hyacinth shop there. If you know how Brownhill set up, you drive now, you reach all up by Johnny Junction, up the hill. You can't believe that this is Brownhill. I mean, go around. And I don't seeking to denigrate the progress in the name of some I don't know what your politics is, or whether you even understand some of the things that you say, the way you said it. So go around. And I think people at the end of the day are going to be fair. Drive around, look around. You see this notion of the roads being scrappy? Part of what that is being said, is because the NRP has ingrained in their DNA a sense that anything done by individuals is inferior. The leader of NRP himself told us that. When y'all come back here from school, y'all don't know what you're doing. He said so, not me. Y'all don't know what you're doing. Y'all must practice, learn how to drive. Can't put you to do no major project. It's an insult to all the engineers and experts that we have in public works. The leader of the island had no confidence in them. They tell him go up to brown pasture. Find a road up there to practice, learn how to drive. This government said no. We have confidence in our people. We must give them the opportunity. And when you give them the opportunity, they will rise to the occasion. So what you're calling scrappy, I don't know who's going to agree with you. Because look around the island. Look at I remember you calling and you criticized the Mondo track too. There's nothing good to say. He said we're fooling people removing dirt. Then as you see it built, you change your story. But last weekend or 2 weekends ago, we were able to have the national championships there. St. Kitts came over and they said, no, we're going to do it. One in St. Kitts this year, one in Nevis next year. And then you say we have nothing to talk about, caller? Nothing to talk about? These are important strides that we have made and continue to make. Why? Because, again, we have a vision that we are executing. And we have chosen to focus. Old people say, you can never get up the hill if you kick at every barking dog. So sometimes the dog's howling, ah! No, keep walking. Feet moving forward. Face to the sun. And you keep progressing. Because ultimately, it is that will speak. Not the cacophony of sound and fury and the nonsensical utterance. You can't denigrate what is happening here in Nevis. So I'm asking us to lift ourselves, because even if you oppose this government, and that's okay, every government needs an opposition, but oppose on principle and not seek to denigrate what is happening here on the island and what the people of the island are building. Building Nevis by us, for us. That's what we are doing. And that, I think, is a sea change in policy from where we used to be. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hi, Mark. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening to you. I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, we have nothing to say, but wait till we start to talk. But I want to say, Mark, you also have a lot of patience. But I just want to speak in reference to two things. And you realize that the Four Seasons is having a development. And you realize what the tremendous and outstanding contribution that development would be to, firstly, the island of Nevis, and by extension the Federation? Do the people realize what that development would bring to Nevis and the Federation?
Well,
Do they realize, Mark? The caliber of development that the Four Seasons is taking right now, when that finish, you're talking about serious amount of money would be pumped into the economy. And I also want to speak about the tremendous and outstanding performance by the best tourism minister in the Caribbean. What took place here last weekend in St. Kitts, the music festival. And we are very happy, very happy for what is taking place and what have taken place over the last few years. And this music festival is a demonstration and a testimony of the outstanding leadership by the minister and the Ministry of Tourism and all those who would have contributed and made their contribution in the music festival. It was a tremendous, a thing, and we just want to also congratulate and to commend all those who came in from overseas, and they had a wonderful time. This nation is not only on the move, but the nation is running, and with the kind of leadership that we have come too far to turn back, and never again what we had before February 15, 2000, February in 2015, we are not ever again will repeat the embarrassment what we had in Church Street. And you realize, Mark, that when they used to have parliament, you realize that Church Street, Central Street, you name it, used to be blocked off? Mm-hmm. It used to be blocked off when the government had no legal authority because the government was minority. Running from a motion of no confidence, being the longest minority government in the history of any government in the world. Now today, the government of the day have an outstanding mandate, 7 out of 11, and no parliament since 2015, neither Church Street, Central Street, Market Street, Princess Street, nothing being blocked off. So Mark, I am telling you that we are going to come to the time when we are not only going to have the conversation, but the people will have to answer to their record, and this outstanding government will defend its record. I will say this, Mark, to you. And today, the third day, just about 5 minutes before 10, that this government, the federal government, will be re-elected. Just mark my word. I can give you a secret, and I am willing to bet and donate to any charity in this country $10,000.
What you betting on?
Eh?
What you betting on?
That the government will be re-elected after the next election, and with a bigger mandate. The government, I am very confident of that. So all the naysayers and all of the detractors and whatever, seriously, the government will be re-elected.
All right,
it's only a
my
matter of time.
All right, we'll have to leave it
Okay,
there.
man.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you very much. And guess what? I just got a note that there's a lady called, I hope I have the name right, Rosia in Camps. Rosea. That's the note I got. I don't know how you pronounce that. Rosie. I hope she knows who she is because I don't know how to pronounce his name. But Rosia in Camps in St. Kitts says she listens to this show every night, and your daughter Tamika has asked me to say good night to you and to say that how happy we are that you're tuned in, and we wish you, of course, a wonderful night. Thank you for being a loyal listener to the On The Mark show all of these years. So it was there, right there in Camps. We want to wish you a very good night and hope and pray that you continue to be in good health. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just about a few minutes away from the end of the show. We may have time for one more call. This show has been historic, perhaps. We didn't open the lines very early, but I still only have my first win. You know, I could go for another 2 hours. But, you know, it's sometimes important that you show people that you still have what it takes to take what they got. That's very important. So we're here. It's On The Mark. It's always a good time on a Wednesday. And just to remind our friends and family again in the United States that this government will be in New York, on Friday night at 7 p.m. at the Grace Episcopal Church, 1909 Vice Avenue in the Bronx, 10460. Refreshments will be served, and the Honorable Premier will be there along with the Deputy Premier and the Honorable Minister Spencer Brand. And we hope to engage you. We hope all come out. Those in New Jersey, those in Connecticut, those in Boston, please drive down, be a part of it. Those, of course, right in New York, in all the boroughs in New York, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, we want you to come out and be a part of it as well. Those who are upstate, and even those in Canada, if you can make it down here in the area for the weekend, the Independence Weekend, we want you to certainly make it. Those in Maryland and DC and Delaware as well, we're asking you to come, take a drive, be a part of what we're seeking to do, which is to come to you and have a conversation. You hear what it's called? Conversations with the people. And we're there to have a conversation with you. We invite one and all to be a part of this historic event right there in the Bronx. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. The band has struck up. It means we have to go. And for those who missed it, we're hoping that you will listen tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on Von Radio. For those of you who listen to it and want to listen to it again, then certainly you can also tune in tomorrow right here on Von Radio as well. www.viewingradio.com or 860 on your AM dial. As we like to remind everyone, this is the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, where only the very best will do. Thank you.